What is up, party people? Welcome to Saturdays and Seltzers. If you're new here, welcome back. If you are part of the Bussin' Squad, we start every show with our HLH. My name is Kendra Middleton, by the way, and I'm joined by my co-host, Sarah Griffin, as always. Our HLH is our high of the week, low of the week, and our hero of the week, which is something unexpected and good that happened to us in the last week or so. I am drinking today. So I'm going to enjoy this tasty bev while Sarah gives you her HLH.
Okay, so this sounds a lot more depressing than it actually is. I don't have a high this week. It's not because life's just so shitty or anything. I just literally don't have any. I haven't done much, and
that happens.
I don't know. There hasn't been anything that really stood out for me for high. Low. I have two things. So I complained so much about how I don't have any free time. And then this is the first week where I don't really have any, I have my freelance work and stuff, but it's the first weekend I don't have anything. And I'm just what the fuck do I do all week? But then also I realized classes are starting soon. And again, classes starting soon, NHL starting soon. I'm going to regret saying that so much. I'm going to wish I took way more advantage of this week, but
you should just do nothing.
I am so bad at doing that.
I know you are. I was just going to say, you are really bad at doing nothing.
Planning, because I finished my articles that were due today at 2. I finished last night because I'm just what do I do? What do I do? So I started doing stuff for next week. And I don't know. I don't know what to do with myself. So I guess that's my low. And then my hero.
You should just smoke weed on the couch and do nothing. That'll do it.
That's this is the time. There's no better time this week. My hero has been, I kind of been doing this all summer, but I've been reading more, which has been nice. Relaxing in bed.
Yeah. I feel like you have been. I see you posting stories and stuff all the time. I can't imagine knowing how to read.
Hey, why ain't you running?
Well, I can't read.
Get out of here.
Because I can't.
It's the couple hours that I'm my head actually just turns off. I'm all right, well.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know how to read, but that would probably be great for me right now. My high, I also don't really have one. My life is so miserable right now between moving and all this other bullshit. I didn't even put pants on for this show. That is how just chaotic my life is. I literally put mascara and concealer on and was all right, this is it. This is literally what it is. But I'm going to Fenway tomorrow with Duncan, and I get to go to batting practice and stuff. So that's kind of sick.
Ooh.
So I feel that will be my high because I don't have another one. My low is okay, so we've been talking about how I've been getting ready to move for a week or two now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm about to get kind of personal, but moving can be so emotional and nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm closing a chapter of my life, and going through your stuff is so crazy. I have every card anyone's ever given me, any kind of gift anyone's giving me. And it's it's hard to part ways with stuff that's not serving you in certain ways, but it's still nostalgic. And it's I know a lot of people that listen to this show know that I lost my best friend a couple years, but it's I feel I'm just carrying some of her stuff from house to house, and I don't use it. It's not serving a purpose in my life. It's just I couldn't let go of it. And I know that I'm being so vulnerable right now, but I feel that's okay. But it's just emotional, and letting go of stuff that's not serving you is just overwhelming at times.
I agree. Sorry, I had to mute myself. It got loud here.
Yeah, but so that's what I'm going through. My other low was, and this wasn't even a low, but I went to this thing with Red Bull this weekend, and we went to Encore after because obviously the bar is not that 2 a.m. is early, but if you're going out, I feel 2 a.m. is kind of early. Things close down here early.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, and so like we decided to go to Encore, like all the like influencer people or content creators, whatever you want to call them, that's like less icky than it sounds. Like went to Encore after, and I was in a Blake Bortles jersey, and this like drunk asshole was like trying to like fist fight me and kept like calling me the C word, and he was like saying like all this crazy shit to me about how like Blake Bortles isn't a QB1, and I was like a dumb like C word and stuff. And I was just like, I'm pro C word, but like, I don't want like people to be like blasting this and like, I don't know, whatever, fuck it. But like, I don't know, like that's just so weird to me. Like, and like his friends were like backing him up.
That's bizarre. Like clearly they were like hammered, but that's just like such a weird fight to even pick and like say to a stranger. I don't know.
Which like would have been fine if we weren't like in the same area as them and it didn't go on for so long. Like I wouldn't really care usually, but like we were around them a lot and it was just weird.
That's really weird.
My hero would be my mom. Like my mom's been like such a homie the last week. Like I've been going through it and like she just, I don't know, like you're like, I don't know, like I just love my mom. She's a cool lady. And my got to date with Jackson was Monday. I have had him for 5 years.
Aw.
That's a long time. Like
so
I've kept something alive for that long. And thriving-ish.
He is thriving.
He is thriving. He's a little anxious and he's a little chunky, but like, you know, who isn't?
I would say, aren't we all?
It's like it's just like post-pandemia. So I don't know, that was probably like kind of depressing, but like it's whatever. Like I'm being honest. I also like suck and barely had any notes for our show this week. So Sarah came in clutch with the notes. I just really have not been watching like sports. I haven't been on Twitter. Like I just have been like full blown packing and like organizing my life. So I see that we are talking baseball this week. So I will let you lead the baseball segment.
I don't have a ton, honestly. It's just kind of like stuff I've noticed. Like I was really thinking that Tristan Casas, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I thought for sure he was getting pulled up yesterday. Still hasn't.
Forever now.
I don't really know what the holdup is at this point. Like, it doesn't look like you're catching up to the wild card. Like the season's winding down. Like
they're hurt.
Like I said last week, I'm vying for the Orioles to make a wild card run. I don't care that they're in our division. Like I think that's a great story. I would rather see them make the wild card than us. I don't think the Red Sox deserve it. I don't like. Nothing's going their way. That also says that they would make the playoffs. So at this point, what do you have to lose to get this guy who is your future? Just some experience. I don't know, especially with Eric Hosmer injured, you know, Nathan Eovaldi's now on like the 15-day IR. I don't know. Everything's just shitting the bed. And I don't watch the Red Sox really at all at this point, but I would watch to see his debut. I'd love to see this kid actually play up at the majors.
Yeah, that's the thing is that I feel like Red Sox fans have been talking about this kid for so long, like wondering when it was going to happen. And that was part of the reason that I was confused about the Hosmer trade is because like everyone speaks so highly of him. And it's like the Red Sox, we've talked about it, were kind of in like a place where if they were going to win, they needed to do it now. And it's like they didn't really do a whole lot to like do either. So it's like, if you want to rely on your young talent, then do it.
Yeah. Like you have nothing to lose at this point. Get those guys experience, especially when your roster's so depleted right now with injuries. Like you're not like looking to rely on anyone to like push you to this playoff position because it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, agree. It was just I'm all in on the Orioles as well. Like I would rather like that's so fun, especially because the AL East is what it is. Like it is crazy.
Yeah, I was doing because I've been doing the sports betting stuff, like just the articles. And so I did the Orioles White Sox game for today. And I was like writing about it. And I don't know, it's kind of crazy when you look at it because again, like you come in, like you're the Orioles the last like, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years now. You come into the AL East just expecting, there's really no expectations, but everyone's just like, all right, they're going to finish at the bottom of the standings. Like they're nothing to worry about. And then they have this like great first half of the season where it's like, okay, but even so, they're still at the bottom of the standings, you know, because it is, if it was any other division, they would have already been kind of in playoff contention, I think. But then really after that second half, they just started picking it up, you know, the Red Sox bumped down and now they're 2.5 spots out. They're right on the heels of like the Mariners. And I think the Blue Jays too. You know, the Yankees have been so bad lately. I mean, now they're on a 3-game win streak since they swept the Mets, but they've just been horrible since the second half of the season started. That there is now that kind of like variety in the AL East that we didn't really see before, opening up for the Orioles, who just continue to win. I think I wrote today like it's kind of like a Cinderella story, which like kind of is. I don't know,
which
I'm
is
definitely
weird
all
to
in on
say.
them.
Yeah, you make a good point too, that it's like if they played in any other division, like they would probably be in the postseason. So it's like they're obviously doing things right. And I don't know if that speaks to how far they've come or just how big of a beast this division actually is.
I know, especially when you think like, okay, Trey Mancini is one of their best players. They trade him away. They trade a lot of guys away at that deadline. I mean, yeah, you still have like Cedric Mullins, like Santander, like guys like that. But still
they're not household names.
Yeah, like you look at that lineup, it's not a lineup of names that people like, that guy's a star. Most people don't know, like definitely not their pitching staff. When I was doing research, I didn't realize, I think I knew maybe 2 or 3 names in the Orioles bullpen. They're like 4th in the league in like their ERA, like 4th best. But you wouldn't know any of the names on there. Their starting rotation, like John Means has been on the IL for months now. Jordan Lyles has been like their number 1 guy who like was kind of like a solid pitcher for the Brewers a few years ago. Then he played for the Rangers and just been kind of like whatever. But they're just floating through with this rotation that people are like, who the fuck is that? They have this insane bullpen.
Yeah, I'd love for Baltimore sports to be on the rise. Like they're a gritty city, like they're fun, their fans are nuts. Like I love the Ravens. Like the Ravens have my favorite roster in football. So like that would be like, I would love that.
Also, Camden Yards is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They deserve playoffs.
Yeah. I hope that they make some sort of run, because like if clearly whatever's going on with their management is like working and it's positive, and it's like if they can take a group of guys that aren't household names and get them into a wild card spot, like fucking go for it.
And what's crazy is with the Orioles, the story always is like, oh, they'll be good come like 2025. The fact that you still have some of your best guys down in like AAA, AA, like, yeah, they have like Adley up now, like guys like that. But other than that, like they're going to just continue to get better and better. Like they're not even close to their peak. Like this was supposed to be a year where like, oh, they finished in last. Like you'll have some promising moments of these young guys, but I don't know. I think everything's very exciting for the Orioles right now. So even though I am a Red Sox fan, like it is the AL East, I am rooting for them.
So are you sticking a fork in the Red Sox season?
I mean, yeah, I just like don't even watch them anyways. So I'm like, I'm not really bothered by it. Like their injuries are just continue to add up, and like it's not gonna pan out. I'm not gonna invest time now. Like it's already August 24th.
Yeah, there's a month left. Like it is what it is.
Yeah,
we won't be partying on the Monster this postseason.
No, we will not.
Rip. Angels ownership considering selling the team. I saw this. I really didn't read that far into it, but it's like, what would it even take to buy that team?
That's what I was thinking. I honestly didn't read much into this either, because again, not that into baseball, like whatever. I'm like, sure, like clearly they're not interested in owning the team to begin with. That's very obvious. Like, please sell the team and let like either build around Trout and Ohtani. It seems like Ohtani's probably on his way out anyways, or like trade them.
Crazy.
Yeah, let them get a fresh start. Like just rebuild everything. I don't know. I think it shouldn't even be a consideration. Like fucking sell the team.
They just almost seem like the redheaded stepchild of LA. And it's like, that sucks because you're in a major market. Like you can see in New York right now that the Mets and the Yankees, it's clearly working out having 2 teams in a big market. And it's not just like that in baseball. Like, yeah, the Knicks have sucked historically, but the Nets and the Knicks still both, I mean, neither of them have been great, like in the past decade or 2. So it's like, it can happen in a big city, but it's like, you have 2 of the biggest names in baseball right now, and you're considering selling your team. And it's like, you guys are just still second to the Dodgers. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say about it, just because I was like, I mean, that is news, but I'm like, now's the time. Don't continue. There's no way like Trout and Ohtani are happy there. I think it's been made pretty clear at this point that Otani's definitely not. And Trout, I'm just like, free that man.
I also just like don't know like what I feel like you'd have to give them like an entire country.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Like I feel like some business, like unless you like, I don't know, I really don't even know who could buy the team. Like what is your even asking price? The real estate alone.
I don't even know. Maybe hopefully they'll get something like Steve Cohen with the Mets and just like save the team. Like everything turned around for them in one fucking, or I guess 2 seasons, and they haven't won anything yet, but they're certainly on a good path right now.
Yeah, they look great.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you added these next 2 things in our notes because hot dog beer guy is the most American shit I've ever seen.
Do you think that was staged?
Okay, if you haven't seen this headline, there was a guy at, I don't remember which stadium was it at. It was in New York, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so guy made a hot dog straw and was drinking his beer through the hot dog. This is so fucking American. Yes, I think it was staged. Do I care? No. If you want to drink beer through a fucking hot dog straw at a game, that is fucking electric, and I support the Wiener straw through and through.
Okay. I really had no strong opinions on it. I just saw it on Twitter like 50,000 times. And I was like, this is 1,000% staged, but it's funny. So I was just like, good for him. What weirded me out more was his like Ralph Lauren New York Yankees hats.
I think that this should be like, we should take the Nathan's hot dog competition, and instead of like dunking your bun in water, you have to do it in beer because that's America.
True. That is very American.
That is fucking America. Like if you're going to a game, like the odds that you're getting a beer and a hot dog are like the same. So like, why not just like stone 2 birds at once?
True. He was thinking ahead. He was innovative. I'll give him that.
It's true. And hot dogs are kind of gross. So like if I had a beer hot dog, it's like a beer brat. Like basically it's like a discount beer brat. Same thing. I think I just solved like all of the world's problems. Yeah, like I don't really care if it was staged. Like if you want to, like, honestly, like that is clickbait. I don't care. Like I know that that's like the era of the internet we live in, but it's like if you are the guy who is drinking hot dog through a straw or drinking beer through a hot dog, that's incredible, and I'm so here for it.
See, I misinterpreted when I first saw the video. I thought he literally stuck a straw in the hot dog, and I was like, I'm sorry, what is even like, I was like, hot dog, like juice? Like, that's fucking disgusting. Like, how does that even work? And then I like watched it again. I was like, oh, okay.
I like saw the video and it's like, I think he used a straw to make the hole, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, did he eat the hot dog out of the straw hole? Or like.
He must have. Otherwise,
like,
kind of
that
waste.
Do we think he's a serial killer?
Yes. He did serial killer just from the hat alone. That's what's disturbing the most of that video. I'm like, where did you get a Ralph Lauren Yankees hat? And why is it plaid?
See, but like if that happened in Boston, I would be like, oh yeah, that's Brad. And he's definitely from like the Cape. So I don't even think I would bat an eye.
I don't know. It was, plus it came right from John Boy. So I was like, all right, there's no way this is fucking real.
No way.
But either way.
But I'm here for it. Like, you do you. I also did see the guy getting head in Oakland.
Honestly, I was like, what the fuck else is there to do an Oakland A's game? There's no one fucking there. The team sucks. Like, tickets are probably $1. Like, sure, have at it. But I know they put security up there now.
That's kind of like a power move. Like if you get a blowjob like in empty stands at an MLB game, like that's cooler than the Mile High Club for me because you're just like whipping it out for the world to see. Like that's kind of a power move.
Well, because I was like, well, is this stage like, because you have the people with the video like perfectly in time for it. I never know what's staged and what's not anymore. But that I was like, I mean, even if it is staged, they're still actually fucking doing it. So good for that guy. I want to buy that guy a beer, first of all. But second of all, like the thing is about the video is like,
when you're looking at the screen, you can't even tell what's happening from that far away. And then they zoom in and it's very evident.
Yeah.
But it's like, how are you even like, how you have to have like 20/20 fucking vision.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm also just an oblivious person, I guess, that like I'm not looking at my surround, like, oh, look way up fucking there. What are those people doing? Let me zoom in and look. Like, I don't know. That's why I was like, this might be staged, but they're still doing it. So whatever.
Do we think that like maybe they were homies and the guy was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna go like, you know, get a quick, you know, blowy.
That's what I thought.
I kind of think that
is probably their friend.
Yeah, I agree. Like, definitely he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go have like a quickie like across the stadium. And his friends was like, we're like looking for him to go viral or something. But also like I haven't seen anything about any repercussions for it.
Yeah, because usually you get in a lot of trouble for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But if they weren't able to identify him, I guess. I'm like, how do you identify with so far away?
But also like, how do you punish someone and not like fist bump them? Like that's kind of electric.
And I'm like, clearly it was consensual. So
yeah, and Oakland's
and
not
like anyone was at that game. No one's there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's fucking Oakland. Like, who gives a shit?
There were like little kids sitting around. Like, if it was that case, like that guy should be banned from everywhere and probably in jail. Like, that makes me sex offender. But I'm like, there was no one in like thousands of feet of them.
Also, like, we've been in bleachers at games a whole lot. How did she fit between the seats?
I don't know. That's because it's a tiny little section.
It's a tight squeeze.
She was putting in the work.
She was bussing it down for the Oakland A's, bro.
I hope that man was worth it.
Queen.
That was no way was that comfortable for her.
Like, definitely not. And I hope, but that's the thing. Like, she doesn't even get anything back. Like, she's probably banned from the stadium and like maybe got a little extra protein or something that day. But that's about it, sis.
Now she's just the Oakland A's blowjob girl. With respect to her. Respect to her.
Maybe she'll get like a job at Barstool or something.
If anyone should get a job between the two of them, it's her. Like, she should reap the benefits of this. He already reaped the benefits, clearly.
Yeah, you got the instant gratification, my dude. Like,
yeah. This is about her now.
Maybe he bought her a beer with a hot dog straw.
I hope he bought her like 10 of those.
Do you like, I would never do that, first of all, but like she had to be fucking fucked up.
Either fucked up or just down astronomically bad.
Maybe, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Either way, we support you, queen.
Yeah, slay. It was consensual. That's good enough for me. Live your truth. Any more baseball comments?
No, do you hear the music now?
I hear beeping. Also, if you hear beeping in this episode, no, you don't.
Oh, beeping? Yeah, the people downstairs, their fire alarm keeps going off. It's been going on for days now.
Now I hear the music.
Yeah.
So Sarah
has
just
not
living
been silenced for days.
I see why you want to get out of your house now.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Okay, so I saw that you put the Jared Bernhardt stuff in our NFL notes, which I love. Obviously it's like a really unique crossover, but like it is just preseason and that's my concern.
Yeah, I know he made obviously the 80 man, and then it sounds like he's kind of on the cusp for when they make the 53. But then I read something today that was like, because he's having such a good preseason that another team could end up picking him up.
Yeah.
Like I wrote in our notes, this is the only like preseason storyline I'm following at all. Like I'm not following any Patriots storylines or thing just because it is so relevant to lacrosse. So I see it all the time. But I think it's just like awesome to see to begin with. Like you have this kid who won like the Tewaaraton and then like won a national championship with Maryland, then transferred and became like this D2 football star. And you know, you don't see a ton of D2 guys go and make it on NFL rosters, even if it's just preseason. And he's just lighting it up. And I think it's fucking sick. Like he's just winning at life.
Yeah, I only know who he is because he's from Florida. and we're like a year apart. So like I kind of remember like that storyline of him a little bit, but I have been paying attention to him after I found out that he was a lacrosse player. But I love Desmond Ridder, and I think that he's going to be a really good quarterback in the NFL. And it's like they connected on like a huge pass the other day, and I was like, holy shit, like this kid might have a chance at making this roster, because like they have like a lot of receivers that they carry, but it's like there's obviously all of these issues with Calvin and stuff. So it's like,
yeah,
I think he has like a solid chance. Like I think he's right on that cusp. I feel like they probably have enough room to carry maybe like 6 or 7 receivers, and there's no reason that he couldn't be one. But it's like whenever people cross over sports like this, like that's just so fun.
Yeah, like I said, it's the only preseason storyline I'm following at all, and I'm like, I have zero interest in the Atlanta Falcons. What the fuck would I have any interest in them for? But I feel like my entire Twitter feed now is just all like, you know how if you like engage with a certain topic enough, then it just like Twitter starts showing
Pops
you
up.
It keeps showing me like Falcons, like news websites to follow, like all these reports. I was like, no, I don't actually care about the fucking Falcons. However,
yeah,
I do care if Jared Bernhardt actually makes the roster.
Yeah, like I think that that would be so fun. And it's like, I think that he's looked good enough to make the team. It's just, I think he's definitely gonna play this week. And I think that I feel like they should target him to see what he's made of, just because like he's right on that cusp, I feel like, of making that roster. So it's an exciting storyline, like, and especially like the fact that he is a crossover athlete. Like I said, like, I just love stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's sick to see.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this. I feel like a lot of girls on sports Twitter were talking about it, but there was a father who took his son to the Browns preseason game this week, and the dad was holding a sign that said "fuck them hoes," and the kid was holding a sign that said "free Watson."
I did see that, yeah.
The internet kind of blew up about it, as they should. And it's like, my kind of take on it was that it doesn't matter if you're on the wrong side of this argument. People like that make your argument automatically invalid. And it's like, it makes your argument look worse. And a lot of people on the internet were saying that, you know, child protective services should be called. And this poor kid obviously is probably being like, where's the mom? How is this guy having custody? You know, all of those like sorts of questions. But the positive, if there is any positive out of this, there's a woman on TikTok who's like she's like that Drew Alfano girl kind of, but like more political, I would say, and kind of like drags men on the internet. But she found out that this guy is like a former like WWE wrestler or something.
I saw that video.
Yes, and he has like a rap diss track that is like absolute garbage.
Wow.
All of his social media accounts were gone in like 2 hours.
Wonder why.
Yeah. I just like, that's such bad like parenting, no matter how you feel about the situation. Like, how did someone let you leave a hospital with a life?
Yeah, that kid's being brainwashed. I feel really bad for him.
Yeah. And it's like, that's how this becomes cyclical, in my opinion. It's like, you are very blatantly, regardless of how you feel about the decision, teaching your kid that it's okay to disrespect women in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, like, girls call each other like whatever they want in like obviously like terms of endearment and stuff in groups, but it's like, I don't think it's okay for you to call women who have come out and say that they were sexually assaulted hoes in any way, shape, or form.
No, definitely not.
Especially because this situation has caused like so much trauma to so many people, because it's like, not only is this happening to these victims, but it's like now happening to the women of Cleveland as well. So I just like, that story's obviously been circling, but it's just like, if you haven't seen it, I just like, I don't understand the argument behind it whatsoever.
There is none.
Yeah, couple college things before we get on to lacrosse. I gotta say, college football's back, baby. War Eagle, it's week 0. I am so excited that football is back every weekend until like February. I'm probably going to cry a lot over the Auburn Tigers this year because they're going to suck, but here we are. I did see that Hooters is now an NIL sponsor, which I think is fucking awesome. They found a couple of offensive linemen and struck a deal with them. And the fact that Hooters is like signing NIL deals is incredible.
Didn't they sign one with John Daly's kid like a couple months ago?
Yeah, the golfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they're like in college football, which is like if I can't think of a better position either. Like the fact that like offensive linemen have a deal with Hooters, like, and you can just be like, yeah, how many freaking chicken wings can you eat? Like, let's go. Like, that's awesome.
Love that. Love Hooters.
Oh, heck yeah. Fire alarms. I do love Hooters. Okay. You know what? People go to Hooters for like different reasons. Like I obviously, if you don't love boobs, you're a liar, but Hooters actually has really good food.
They do have really good food, especially the chicken wings.
I've never had a chicken wing with a bone on it.
Oh, I love those.
Really?
Good
Okay.
at Hooters, yeah.
Okay, what sauce do you get? And are you like a drum or flat person?
I usually get buffalo drum.
Ooh, okay, that's a spicy take. I like that. I will do like the nugget things. Like you guys know, I just started eating meat recently, so it's like bones still kind of freak me out a little bit. But they have bomb waffle fries.
Do that. I actually think I have had them at one point.
I'm a big waffle fry person. Waffle fries and curly fries do me in.
Waffle fries are like the best form of potato.
Yeah, I definitely have a potato hierarchy. I actually had this conversation less than a week ago about like the best forms of potato.
We had this conversation at dinner the other night.
Curly fries from Arby's though are up there.
I can't with the fucking music. I've never had Arby's, but
oh, I love Arby's. I'm such an Arby's person. We definitely do have background music. You need to befriend your neighbors so you can be like, hi, I record a show at this time on this day.
We're banking on them moving September 1st.
Really? That would be dope. Are they actually?
We don't know. We can't figure out who's. I know the people below us are moving. I don't even know, like, because they're the ones that have the fucking fire alarm keeps going off, and like they had like mail piling up, and we're like, is someone like dead in that apartment? But then I saw them like last week. They were moving stuff in and out. I've never like actually seen people in there. I was like, okay, they're moving shit. They're clearly leaving. I don't know. This whole building's weird.
Interesting. I hope that I have good neighbors next year. That's like my biggest fear. My only other comment before I let you get into the NLL stuff, fucking Urban Meyer is back broadcasting college football on Fox. And of course it's fucking Fox.
Checks out.
I got into a war with like some dorks on Twitter the other day talking about how like he has expertise and it's like, it's not like he's coaching and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Even if what happened with the Jags was all that ever happened, which was a lot, like he was very much like caught cheating on his wife with a minor. He was abusing players, not planning for games. But on top of that, he has a scandal with a guy beating his wife at home. He's known for treating players terribly, like the freaking massacre workouts at UF. Like, I don't feel like a whole lot of people have nice things to say about him. So like, this is a behavioral pattern at this point. We've gone in on this on the show in general, but it's like, my argument was that why do people who are shitty keep getting rewarded? Like Deshaun Watson getting the most guaranteed money ever. And it's like, I just don't understand why people like this keep getting rewarded and handed positions of power, because even if your definition of a position of power isn't being an analyst on a large network, like that still is a position of power and it has a lot of leverage and a lot of recognition and a lot of influence. So it is a position of power in my opinion. And it's like, I just don't understand how you can abuse or enable abuse for so many people and still be handed something so prestigious when it's not like you are the only one qualified for this job.
Also, he was unemployed for what, like 5 fucking months? Not even.
Not even. And it's like, people were like, you knew this was coming. And it's like, yeah, I guess I could have guessed that he would be back in football somewhere. But I kind of expected like what happened to Rick Pitino to kind of happen to him, for him to have to go down, you know, start somewhere else, maybe fake another heart attack, who fucking knows. But like, it drives me insane that I now have to watch this guy on my fucking TV if I want to watch football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so sick of it. I wish he'd blocked me on Twitter already. I really do. I've done everything to try and get him to block me. Like, that is my dream, is to be blocked by Urban Meyer. I'm thinking about just like tweeting him again, hey, fuck you. Because I did that. Like, in the Jags' second preseason game, not the Hall of Fame game, they played so well. We had starters out there. They looked good. Like, the game was going really well. And I was like, dude, this is all Urban's fault. The play calling is beautiful. Like, our starters look good. Like, there's clearly progression here. And the fact that he took over it and we wound up being the worst team in the NFL again, I'm just like, fuck you. Like, fuck you. Like, actually. And I literally just tweeted, fuck you at Coach Urban Meyer. And then I tweeted him all that bullshit last year when that stuff happened with that girl. And I'm like, can you just block me already? I'm tired of seeing your dumb face. But I refuse to block him. So here we are.
Fair.
So that's all I have to say about the NFL. I feel like you have been an NLL free agency fiend. So let's chat.
Yeah, so the big one last week, which I think this is definitely the highlight of NLL free agency. We talked about it a little last week, actually, because I was like, the big question is where's especially Curtis Dixon going, and then where's Kevin Crowley going? Curtis Dixon and Kevin Crowley are both going to the San Diego Seals, which is fucking insane. They have to make a trade, I would think, because they are so stacked. There is no way all those guys, like, it's with so much talent too. Like, I feel like Mac O'Keefe maybe is going to get moved, because especially that left side is just like overflowing. But yeah, it was crazy just to see Curtis Dixon, especially. I know Christian Del Bianco, he's the goalie for the Calgary Roughnecks. Obviously, Dixon played there for 11 years. No one really knew where he's going to end up. And Christian Del Bianco had some like funny ass tweets, and he was like, I hope it sucks. Like, I hope it rains in San Diego. All this stuff is, but I'm happy for him. He deserves it, which he does. Like, he's been one of the best players now for like years consistently. Kevin Crowley obviously was such a huge part of that Philadelphia Wings team. They're just getting so Connor much Farrell talent. Too. Yeah, I'm interested to see what he does for the face-off, because obviously, face-off isn't as important in NLL as it is in PLL. But just that, like, San Diego offense is scary. Like, they are a scary group, and they were a title favorite this year. Yeah, they're a title favorite this year, and then they are probably going to be, if not number one, definitely number two favorite next year.
Yeah, they have to be. Like, they were so good last year, and they're getting that much better to the point where, like, this is my second year being into the NLL, and it's like the crossover between PLL and NLL is obviously different. And I feel like there's a lot of guys who are making that transition this year, so it might be a little bit different. But it's like, I just don't understand how you get that much better and don't go into the season as a favorite.
Yeah, especially because I feel like they did the first half of the season last year. They were so strong. Like, they were just beating the wheels off of everyone they're playing. Then they kind of came to life that second half of the season. I also feel like the Western Division, which sounds crazy to say because the Mammoth ended up winning everything, it was a lot less, I don't want to say competitive, because it was still competitive, but I think there was a big margin between the top three teams and the top, like, and the bottom two teams in the West. Whereas at the East, like, you have like Halifax, Toronto, like Georgia was making a run. Like, there's just like the Riptide, like, yeah, they weren't going to go to the playoffs, but they're getting better. Like, everything in the East was just like very tight. Like, you could not really predict those games as well. Whereas the West, we kind of saw like Vancouver fell off. Panther City, I'm very interested to see what their season's going to look like.
Yeah.
But now that you're also getting Vegas out there too, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the West plays out there. But you'd be insane to say that San Diego's not a title favorite going into next year.
I am all in on the Riptide and the Desert Dogs.
Oh yeah.
Big Desert Dogs gal.
Well, kind of going off of, so last week I said, oh, Rob Hellier, he's one of the guys on the Toronto Rock. You know, they added Corey Small from Philadelphia. I'm like, oh, Small's going to compliment Hellier and Tom Schreiber so well in Toronto. Rob Hellier got traded to Vegas for 2 first-round picks. I think that's a great trade for them. I think, like, you kind of need that, especially in your expansion year, to make that one big trade. Like, he's not Tom Schreiber, but Rob Hellier is consistently fantastic. Like, him and Schreiber had a great 2-man game going. And I think he can also bring kind of a leadership to that Desert Dogs team.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see how that plays out. Speaking kind of also of the Riptide, they traded, I feel bad, I would like to say, for Kieran McCardle, because he was someone that liked to go under the radar so much. And I was like, oh, he's so slept on, like all this stuff. And I wrote that story and I was like, I kind of feel like a dick because now it's just like everyone's like, oh, he's not underrated, he's overrated, like all this stuff. And now in the NLL, he just got traded from the Riptide to the Firewolves. It was like, this poor man cannot stay out of the headlines now.
Yeah,
But
especially because he doesn't seem like a headline kind of guy at all.
That's a huge gap for the Firewolves, but also a huge gap for, so they got Riley O'Connor and a 4th overall pick back. I think Riley O'Connor, and because McCardle and Teat play so well together, I think Teat and O'Connor are going to play even better together. I think this is a great trade-off, and I think the Firewolves had a disappointing offseason so far because they've already lost 2 big names in Joe Resetarits and Banesh, and they just, like, they did make it into the playoffs, but no one really expected them to make this huge run. I think it's going to be good for them to have McCardle, and I know they made a couple other trades. I don't think they're done this offseason. They definitely have more work to do, and now they have a lot of the first round of the draft.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, I saw someone tweeting us about Jeff Teat's like PLL NLL crossover. And I was just very confused.
Oh, he was joking.
Okay. I was like I'm glad you took the reins on that one because I was just like, what is this kid? Is it like, what is this?
Well, he was joking because I know that kid and I knew he was joking, but then someone responded and I think they didn't know it was a joke. And they're like, Jeff Teat played box lacrosse growing up. Like, he is way more experienced in box than even is in field. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the joke. That was the joke.
I like didn't even know how to respond because I don't know him. And I was like, does this kid not know?
No, he was joking.
I was like, how do you think that Sarah and I like got into this place about this? Like, okay. Anyways, continue.
So Saskatchewan had a couple Saskatchewan, they re-signed Kyle Rubich. He's a defender. That's a big one. But they knew Chris Corbeil was leaving Saskatchewan. He's played there for years now. He was their captain. He signed to go to Toronto for 3 years. I know he's from Toronto. He grew up a Toronto Rock fan, and he said that's where he wants to finish off his career, which I'm like, good for him. You know, it's not like he like sidelined this rush or anything. Like, he told them this was his last season with them. Like, everyone knew that going into it.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I'm like, that's just so weird to see, like, especially like a guy who's been in the same uniform for so long go. Yeah. Like, yeah, it makes sense. He's going home. That's where his family is and stuff. Like, it makes total sense, but just wild, but good for him.
Yeah. Here for it.
And last couple things, just NLL draft is September 10th. We'll definitely have Mackie on for that. I feel like she is an expert on that stuff. I don't know.
I love Mackie.
Those like young prospects where she's like working with them every day. So she could be our expert for that.
Yeah, I'm going to write that down in my notes right now while you close this out.
Yeah. And then the last thing, it's not directly NLL related, but if anyone's looking to get into box lacrosse, the Minto Cup, that's like junior lacrosse and junior box lacrosse in Canada. It's like a very big thing. It's one of like the oldest trophies in Canadian sports. It's streaming on YouTube. You can watch it. I've watched a couple of games. It's super exciting. It's a lot of kids that are going to be in the NLL draft and probably will play one day. You know, it's just like cool to see like these like young kids, like the Minto Cup, so like important and special to them that like they really are just playing with everything they fucking got. It's cool to see. So if anyone's interested in that, that's going on.
Cool. PLL in Seattle. I only watched 2 games. I also have some best dressed comments. Do you want to talk about the Cannon season first?
Yeah, we can start off with that.
Okay. How you feel?
I mean, it was kind of what we all expected. It wasn't that game in particular. I wasn't super upset about. No one knew Colin Hurst was starting in net.
Great game.
I thought that was great. Yeah. I was like, I feel like this whole
season. That's the best game they played all year.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wrote. I was like, the Cannons had not been able to play a full 48-minute game all season. That was the best game they had played. Like, yeah, that third quarter, like the Whip Snakes were on that 5-goal run. It's the Whip Snakes offense. You're not going to be able to contain them forever.
Against
like
the Whips, I was like, this is a dub. Way to go out.
I'm like, Colin Kurst in his pro debut shut them out in the first quarter, in the fourth quarter. Only 2 other goalies this season. It was actually both Water Dogs goalies, Matt Luca and Dylan Ward, have had even one scoreless court, like holding the Whip Snakes to scoreless. And he did it twice in one game in his fucking pro debut.
Yeah,
and
people was so impressed.
Yeah, I thought he played an amazing game. You know, people were like, why would Sean Kirk do this in this do or die game? I do think maybe you should have made like that, like given him a start 3 or 4 weeks ago, to be honest. I don't think Nick Morocco's played poorly. I think the defense in front of him were not doing any favors. He had the most saves in the league. Like, he was seeing more shots than anyone in this league.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, so like that's not fair to him. I think he's done a fine job with the position he was put in. But I do think kind of like we saw Brett Dobson get the start actually also against the Whip Snakes for the Archers. And like the Archers weren't clinched up yet at that point, but they're like, all right, let's see what this kid can get. Like just build his confidence a little bit and show him like, you're not going to be in the shadows forever. And I think it was good to give Colin Kurst this start. I do wish they did it maybe a few weeks ago. Like maybe that would change things. I also think this was the best game that the Cannons defense, especially their short stick D-middies, played. I don't know if it had any, like obviously it was a different combination thing. Like 1, you're playing for your playoff lives. But then 2, you also know like, okay, this is a rookie. He has no experience. He's up against the #1 team. But I thought he was very confident in that. Like he definitely had some issues with the like long distance range shots, but that's normal. Like any like shots on the doorstep, like he was really good from the inside. I thought like he looked really solid.
Yeah, like I don't think that that's a game to hang your head on at all. Like you guys were the worst team in the league trying to make the postseason against the best team in the league, and you fucking held them for half the game. And it honestly, to me, it felt like when the Jags were playing the Bills last season. The only difference was that the Jags actually won that game. But I think the Cannons when you let that many goals in without scoring, like obviously that's an issue. But had that not happened, I think that they deserved that win.
Yeah, they came off in the first half, which it's been the story a lot of years. Like never it's an issue with them for like coming out hot. Like I think a lot of times we have seen the Cannons come out hot and then it's that second half to just stay deflated. But yeah, again, like you said, that third quarter wasn't great, but it's the Whip Snakes. You're not going to be able to hold them out for that long, to have 2 scoreless quarters. And then they closed down that fourth quarter. Like, yes, I definitely think Pierce, especially in those last few minutes, bailed them out big time. But you saw, like, they were playing hard, like offense and defense. Like in the fourth quarter, a lot of times this season, I feel like we saw Lyle all of a sudden, like not being one, because defenses have kind of figured him out a little bit, as much as you can figure out how to defend Lyle Thompson. But like he had the ball a decent amount of times. You know, he was taking the shots. It's just the Whip Snakes defense is so hard to beat. Kyle Bernlohr wasn't playing his best game, but it's still most likely the goaltender of the year in there. Like that was no game to be ashamed of. And it was a good last game for Brody Merrill, who played in his 200th game. That's the most pro field
I saw that
he's ever played. And he tied the all-time field ground ball record with Greg Gorelian. And like Greg is a face-off guy.
So he beat it, didn't he?
No, he tied it. But whatchamacallit. So obviously, if you're a face-off guy, you're seeing way more ground balls. And yeah, Brody Merrill's a long stick midi. So he's on the wings there, but still, you're not seeing near as many ground balls Fogo. So to tie that record is fucking insane.
And I did see on the broadcast, like they had the stats that showed up, and the next closest person is like hundreds away.
Oh yeah.
Like
so far down.
Yeah. So that's kind of sick. Like, I think that, I mean, like as much as it sucks for like their players and stuff like that to be the one team that's not in the postseason, like there are worse ways to go out.
Yeah. And someone did ask in the post game. I wasn't going to be the one to ask him. Like, I feel like this isn't the time to ask this question, but I knew someone would. They asked Brody Merrill, like, are you going to come back next year or are you retiring? He's like, I need some time to think, which it sounds like he's coming back with the Seals in the NLL, but I think it also probably depends because, you know, he didn't even play these first few games for the Cans because he's coming off the Seals season and he is older. Like, he's 40. Like, you can't just go straight from playing NLL to, okay, now I'm going to hop across the country and go play PLL with all these like 20-year-olds. So
Yes.
I think it probably will have something to do depending on that. And he has like kids. I think people forget that like that's a grown-ass man with a whole family. Like
He should just play for one game and then beat the record and leave.
that's what I would I'd be like, I'm tired, but I want to beat the record.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. That is my level of petty.
Yeah, it's not like he's slowing down though either, because like he had 4 ground balls in that game, then he had 6 the game before against the Chrome, and I think it was Michael Earhart, because obviously like the long stick midfielder award is literally called the Brody Merrill Award. Like Michael Earhart's the only person that have won it, and he's playing like Brody Merrill's playing for his playoff live against the fucking guy who wins the award named after him. Like that's insane. But then, sorry, I do have a couple more Cannons things.
You're fine.
About their off.
I'm
okay.
prepping.
I was looking into just what is ahead for them in their off season. They have a lot of free agents. Brody Merrill's one, but then also it's like Chris Eslanian, who they did even add to the roster up until like 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I think that should be their top priority of who they need to resign. I thought he made a big impact for them that they needed on the offense. Then they also have Mark Cochran, who was, I think was out at the same time as Chris Eslanian. I wouldn't mind seeing him back. I think the Cannons, like, I don't know if he would be top priority. He is a good goal scorer, which like they need just like a pure goal scoring guy. Tim Edwards, Nick Morocco. I would think they bring back Nick Morocco. I don't know why you wouldn't. Like, yeah, Curse is your future, but he still doesn't have a ton of experience. I think it's probably going to be similar to the Archers deal going on. And then Andrew Newbold and Ryan Tierney. Like I said, I think Chris Eslanian's your top priority there. Just
you really think that?
Out of those names, yeah.
See, I didn't know if he was, I was kind of, I mean, obviously you know more than I do, but I just wasn't sure if he was going to be a priority.
I think out of just the actual, like, because I don't really count Brody Merrill in that, just because he's a better, like, no one's going to hold him to anything. Nick Morocco, I don't know. It's tough to say. I think he is a priority, but like speaking strictly in terms of like offensive and defensive guys, I think out of Cochran, Edwards, Newbold, and Tierney, I think Ryan Tierney made a good case for himself too. But I think Chris Eslanian, he has a much smaller sample size than Tierney, but I think he was a really good fit for this Cannons roster.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that.
And then it also doesn't help that they traded away their first round pick to the Atlas for 2023. Yeah. I wish to God they didn't fucking do that. Granted, that pick turned into Bubba Fairman, who I think is also been really good for the Cans. He's been a great fit. And Colin Kurse, that's what that first round pick ended up being. But at the end of the day, you gave away a first round pick. And it's not like these are guys, like, not that I'm saying Bubba Fairman needs to start scoring like 20 goals or anything. Like, that's on him. He's a defensive like midfielder. But I just hate that they made that trade. And I think you could have probably gotten Bubba lower.
You think?
If that's what you're so inclined. He might have lost out to, I'm trying to remember what the order of the draft was in round 2. But I think he could have maybe fallen to round 3.
I don't know why I thought he was a first round pick.
Some people had him projected there. I just like, I feel like for the first round, I'm like mainly just looking at like, okay, either you're like a crazy offensive midfielder, you're a crazy attackman, or you're some like defender like JT Giles Harris. Like that's someone I would take in the first round. I'm like the like short stick D midi guys, like those I'm like, okay, more maybe second round, like first pick in the second round, that type of deal. But yeah, and then I also just had a couple unsung heroes in the Cannon season. I think Ryan Drenner has consistently produced in his whole pro career, but he's just a very like quiet, understated person. But like he put up 20 points this season with 17 goals, and he has some of the most timely goals I've ever seen. Like that guy was always coming in the fucking clutch. So him, Asher Nolting, obviously, I think he's been overshadowed in the rookie campaign just because you have guys like Nick Turn and Wisnowskis, but he put up 23 points with like 14 goals, 9 assists. He was playing with Lyle like it was no one's business. And then Jonathan Donville, another rookie. I wish they gotten him sooner in the season. Obviously, he started off with the chaos, but I thought he was also a really good fit on that offense. So I think like,
who's your vote?
I'm not allowed to say.
Fair.
But after the awards come out, I'm allowed to talk about it.
Okay, so we'll do an award show, kind of situation. I think, and I'm saying this because we are unbiased queens. I feel like mine would be Brennan Nickturn. Also, there's a highlighter on my hat. I'm packing. But yeah, I think that he would be my pick. Like, he kind of like ripped it up.
Yeah, he seems to be the top contender, which makes
Really?
fucking sense. Yeah.
Good. That's exciting. All right. Any other thoughts?
No, that's about it for all my canon thoughts. They're gonna have an interesting off season, give us lots to talk about for sure.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll be better next year.
I will hold my breath.
I'm glad that you put some best dressed thoughts in here because I had the exact same thoughts. Sarah put that the Woods are the best dressed team, and that was literally what I was going to add to our notes, was that I don't really give everyone else. I'm just so bored by Ryder's like scroll through of his outfits. I was obsessed with, and usually I'm an Air Max kind of girl, but these slap.
Yeah. He has great outfits consistently. Miles has great outfits. Charlie Bertrand, I put in there as one of my best dressed because he had a sick Jimi Hendrix shirt, which I like.
Yeah.
And I also put, did you see Andy Towers?
No.
I think I have a screenshot.
I just love, I really wish, like, I'm a Chrome fan, obviously, because the Woods are so popular. You're fucking kidding. How did I not see this? We'll talk about this in a minute with my thoughts about the postseason. I am so obsessed with him. It is such an issue. The only thing I will say about the Woods swag this year is that, like, last year, we know that where Sergio Perkovic stands on here. Usually he is so well dressed. Like last season, I was like, he slays. I was kind of bored this year, but outside, I mean, and he still dresses well. Me being bored with Perk is like still him dressing to the nines.
Plus, you had Nakai step up. He also is another one that came with A+ fits every week.
My winner of the season for best dressed is just the entire Woods team, and they're here, and everyone else is like on the floor.
I'm like, the only other guy I would give an honorable mention to is Kobe Smith on the Atlas.
Yes.
Another consistently always good, always very well dressed.
And Paul Rabel.
Yeah.
Paul slays. He really does. But like, I think that's and that's the thing too, is like, I guess that like I could add Connor Farrell to my best dress just because he gives so little of a shit that it's like honestly awesome. The flip-flops on the red carpet fucking send me to this day. Oh, Andy. So yeah, those are our best dress thoughts, unless you have any others. The Woods take the season though. They really do.
Yeah, they do easily. Yeah. Like blew everyone else out of the water.
I'm gonna go through Ryder's post. I think that honestly he might be my favorite player right now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Like, I think overall, he's my favorite player.
Yeah, I think that he's my favorite player in the PLL right now.
I can respect that one. Okay.
He's a big dunks guy though. He loves his dunks. Yeah,
well,
this was a good one. Boy. I know, this was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
No, I meant like the shoes.
Oh, I was like Duncan.
No, no, but like, yeah, like he has swag. I think he's my favorite player. I think he is.
Love that.
I'm a Ryder Garnsey stan, and he's just so electric to watch. Like, I was kind of laughing because the broadcast was like Ryder doing Ryder things or whatever, and the account like tweeted the same thing. He's just like, I don't know. I like guys who not only play well, but also have character off the field. Like, those are always my favorite types of people.
See, he's definitely my favorite goal scorer. I think it was Joe Keegan said, like, there is no one Ryder Garnsey goal that is the same as one before. Like, every single one's different. There's so much creativity. It's sick to watch.
Yeah, I'm a big Ryder fan. Yeah, I can confidently say that I think that he is my favorite player in the PLL right now.
Oh yeah.
So the postseason is starting. The Whips obviously have the bye. I think that I might just rip my heart out of my chest and sacrifice it to the PLL because the Chrome and the Chaos are playing each other. And it's like, I don't really care about anybody other than Andy and Blaze. And it's really that I care about Blaze's girlfriend. Like, I love Blaze, don't get me wrong. Like, we're just so obsessed with his girlfriend. We say this, but it's like, I just would rip my heart out for Andy Towers. And this is, I don't even know if I can watch this game because I'm just going to have a panic attack. Like, I'm going to pace in my room.
That's how I feel with the Atlas Water Dogs game.
Like, oh yeah, true. Okay, well, I mean, I feel like you're probably cheering for the Chaos in the other matchup though.
In Chrome Chaos? Yeah, I'd probably go Chaos, which, yeah, I'd go, just for Andy and Blaze's girlfriend, I'd go Chaos. I'm like, even though they took the last playoff spot from the Cannons, I'd have to go Chaos.
Okay, I don't think they're gonna win. And I'm obviously picking the Chrome because I'm a Chrome fan, but I won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, if I were to lose to anyone, I want it to be Andy Towers.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. I agree with that. If I were a Chrome fan, I would be like, well, I'm losing Andy Towers. But yeah, I do think the Chrome will win that game.
Yeah.
Like, they should fucking hope they win that game.
Yeah. So those are kind of my pick. Like, yeah. I mean, I don't think we should we just do like I'm moving next week. I don't know if we want to do a preview early. If you want to have like Mackie on to do NLL stuff, do we want to make picks now?
We can do picks next week. Cause I feel like I want to wait till your like injury report too and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the only comment I have to say. If that's what we want to do, Archers, Woods, Atlas Water Dogs, like, I feel like there's a lot of ways the postseason could have gone, but without getting too far into it, like, I feel like this is like the most even type of matchup we could have gotten across the board.
True. Yeah. I like, cause we were going to pick like what games we're doing for recaps for work. And I like wanted, so I was like, oh, I'll take Atlas Water. I was like, I have way too much. I'm like, I'm not saying bias, but I just love both those teams so much. I cannot accurately cover that game. So I took Archers Redwoods. That Atlas Water Dogs game is going to rip my heart out. I was like, I hate the thought that one of these teams is going to eliminate the other one so fucking much.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, that's how I feel about the Chrome Chaos game, but we can do this all next week. Fate of a Sport premieres Monday. That's exciting. I don't know. We could watch it together.
Yeah, I would say I'll be around.
Yeah, I don't have anything crazy on Monday. As long as I'm in a good enough place packing, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's on ESPN Plus. Where's it premiering?
I think it's just like on ESPN Plus, so you can watch it like on demand type deal.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. We could live tweet it. That'd be fun.
Hell yeah.
Maybe have like a watch party. Only other PLL thoughts. PLL trophy designed by Tiffany.
I like I think it's a very aesthetically pleasing trophy. I just hate when like you can't drink out of a trophy.
Yes, I agree with that too. Like, I think it's pretty, but I'm like, it's also kind of small.
I'm like, it's definitely an upgrade from the trophy last year, which granted, like every single year the trophy's been broken. This one, I'm sure someone will find a way to break it. But I'm like, the fun of it is getting to drink out of it. It's like super fucking cool. Like, it's such a nice looking trophy. But I don't know, that's just, I love when people can drink out of it. And people are like, you can't drink out of, like, the only like major league like sport that you can drink out of is like the Stanley Cup. Like, and Stanley Cup is the best trophy in sports.
Best trophy.
So,
it is. It's beautiful and it's fucking Tiffany. I wonder what the like value of it is. I'm gonna look it up.
Well, I saw someone like tweet there, like, I don't remember who it was, but it was like PLL players breaking the trophy this year. Then that guy, like, I am never going to financially recover.
I don't know how much it's worth. Well, we made fun of the trophy last year.
Yeah, it was like a fucking vase.
Yeah. We like definitely shit on the trophy last year. I think that this is by far an upgrade. It's a fucking Tiffany trophy, which is sick. But I do agree with you that the best trophies in sports you should be able to drink a beer out of.
Yeah, that was my only like one, like, and of course that was my first thought too, which I'm like, this is a beautiful trophy. Like, this is so gorgeous, but like, can't drink out of that though.
I also just feel like Paul would go with Tiffany. Like, that's like my first thought wasn't even like, oh, it's beautiful. I would just be like, I was literally just like, he would. Like, that was my first thought. I was just like, yeah, checks out. All right, is that it for PLL?
I think so.
NHL thoughts. Yes, I'm glad you added this to our notes. Rest in peace to Ben Stelter. It's Stetler, right?
I think Stelter. Ben
Stelter. Sad day in sports. Like, sad.
I forgot to mention that last week, but yeah, rest in peace him. Thoughts to his family. Just a sad story. I mean, he had such an influence in such a short amount. Like, everyone knows who he is. Like, especially, like, I don't know. I feel like the Oilers are definitely going to do it right and celebrate him this season in some way. It was nice to see like McDavid and Draisaitl like come out and make posts and stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah,
a lot of people did.
So sad.
Yeah, agree. Thoughts and prayers to his family. My only other NHL thing I wanted to say was Sarah Nurse and Trevor Zegras are on the NHL cover. And I think that this is awesome. I think it's really cool. I think it's fitting. Not only do you have a woman, but you have a young star. You have a woman of color, which is also awesome. Like, I thought that this was sick, but the comments on the post also made me sick.
Oh, I didn't even read them. I just figured it was not worth reading.
People just suck, man. Like, why do you give a fuck that there's a girl on the cover? Like, just shut up. Like, why? Why do you care?
That's why. Usually, like, any stuff like that, I'm like, I'm just going to save my peace and not even look at the comments.
It was like, also, like, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, all the people I follow, like, you know, like, we all follow the right type of people on Twitter, so I never actually see any, like, negative reactions to these type of things. It's just everyone like, this is sick, like, it's awesome, like, deserved a Sarah Nurse, like, all this stuff. I'm like, sick, keep going. I saw it on Instagram, like, they just kept scrolling. I was like, I don't even want to know.
I'm like in an NHL. Yeah, I'm in an NHL group chat, and like people were sending some of the comments back and forth, and I like quickly glanced at them, and they just made me so sick to the point where like, I just like, what, like, do people not have anything better to do with their time?
It's literally just like 12-year-old boys.
It is. And it's like, that's even more scary, to be honest. It's like not even people who are like 55 and like generationally prejudiced. Like, you're just either being raised by a piece of shit or like are because you think it's fucking entertaining. And I don't know what's worse.
Yeah.
So that's that. As we close out our show, I don't have a pop culture segment this week. Oh, actually, yes, I do. I want to talk about Scott Disick again. Rolled his car.
He did?
Rolled his Rolls Royce.
Yikes.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Something's going on.
Yeah.
Something's going on with Scott Disick.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Rolled his Rolls Royce. He had like very minor injuries, but it was after a date. Nobody said if there was like drugs or alcohol involved, but I did see the car. I don't know. He scares me, man.
Yeah. Someone really needs to check in on him, help him.
Your pop culture segment, I don't know who these people are.
Oh, so Sarah Hyland, she was on Modern Family. Wells Adams, he was on The Bachelor. They have been engaged for like years.
I remember
now.
him.
Yeah. They've been engaged for like years now, but they're like the cutest fucking couple. I love them. Like, he has a podcast and stuff that I remember him. He's so sweet and he's like obsessed with her. Sarah Hyland's gone through some shit. Like, she was in an abusive relationship with one of her former, not on Modern Family. It was like some like Disney movie or something. And it like became public, like all this stuff. Like, she's gone through some shit. And her and Wells, they've been engaged now, I think, since before COVID. So it's just kind of been a long-term engagement. And she just looks like stunning. It looked so happy. A bunch of the Modern Family cast was there. like some of them are in the wedding. Jesse Tyler Ferguson, he plays her uncle on Modern Family. His name's Mitch in the show, and he officiated it.
Cute.
And it was so fucking cute. It made my heart so happy, and I've been taking every bit of that content. It is so wholesome, and I love them so much.
Yeah, I've never seen Modern Family, but I remember Wells' season of The Bachelorette was like one of the 2 seasons that I watched.
Mm-hmm.
And I did love him. He was very cute and quirky and sweet. Yeah, I did like him. He was very cute. I love that kind of crossover.
Yeah. And you should listen. His podcast is so like, he's just so cute, and he's like obsessed with her, like so obsessed with her. Oh, I just love
What's his pod about?
It's just like kind of a life type thing. Like he does do a lot of Bachelor talk, but it's not just that.
Okay, cool. Tea party segment. I don't know if you saw this, but Tom Brady missed I think 10 days of training camp, and there was all of these rumors and speculation about what he was doing, where he was. After it came out that his family was fine, it was just something that he was doing. People were okay, well, is he on The Masked Singer? What is he doing? Turns out that he was in the Caribbean with Giselle.
Checks out.
Yeah, and there's been such a divide in the media between Tom Brady's the only one who can get away with this. Why, if someone else did this, would it be a big deal? And then the people who are he's fucking Tom Brady. It's training camp. It's fine. He doesn't need to be there. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. And it's I see both sides. And I know as a member of the media, the number one thing you're supposed to do is have a take. Whether it's, right or wrong, semi-right or wrong, have a take, stick to your guns. I truly don't have a take about this. But it's I understand he's Tom Brady and he can do whatever he wants, and good for him. I do appreciate the power dynamic of their relationship, where it's he's fucking Tom Brady, but he still is willing to do things for his wife that matter, and she puts her foot down and he's still yes ma'am sort of situation. I do appreciate that they have that dynamic together. But at the same time, you're a professional athlete, you sign up for half the year to be at your job and to work, and it's you may have a group of vets around you on the Bucks, but you still are supposed to be building chemistry and be there for your teammates and be there for the reps. And if anything, you're a voice of reason, and that matters to me. When your season is, and it's yeah, he's Tom Brady, he's spending time with his family, cool, whatever. But that is a position of privilege, and I do feel he kind of exploited it a little bit.
See, I'm just so if he's Tom Brady, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But then also, I feel there is kind of that sentiment that he's running the show over there anyways. So I'm who the fuck's going to hold it to him regardless? So that's why I'm just
yeah. And I totally get that. He can do whatever he wants, but I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. Fuck it. Not my problem. Not my circus. Whatever. What is your tea party segment?
So we talked about this last week with Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde. Things have gotten they're escalating, because so more stuff has come out, and now people are Olivia Wilde did not pay Florence as much as she paid Harry, and then she got someone asked her about that, and I sent this to you. I was this is the biggest non-answer I've ever seen. She didn't straight be no, that's not true. They both got paid the same amount. She was I have been fighting for equality, whatever, but didn't answer the question. And then on top of all that, she's taking all this shit. And then Harry did an interview, and people were asking him about how do you, which this was shitty of Harry, but also I don't want this sounds me not being oh, girls supporting girls, whatever. We said it last week, when you're dating Harry Styles, who he is. Okay. That is not a man you marry. That's not a man you leave Jason Sudeikis or anyone that's the father of your children for, because you want to live out a fucking fantasy. So he basically said, after Olivia Wilde's been getting dragged through the fucking mud for months now, he was it was something about his sexuality. He was because someone was we've never seen you with a man in public.
I saw this.
It's just women.
I know what happened.
And he was yeah, that's not true. I just keep everything private. He's none of my relationships are public. And said that right after Olivia's been putting herself out there, like, I'm risking all of this for my relationship, like all this stuff, and then he doesn't publicly claim her.
Yeah, I saw this because like obviously I'm a member of the Alphabet Mafia community, and there's been like a lot of outrage over the fact that he's like doing this like movie where he's like a gay cop in like the 1950s and like stuff like that. And the interviewer asked him about like something about like the sensuality of the like role that he's playing, and he was like speaking about it and stuff like that when he's never actually publicly claimed to be gay or bi, and all of his relationships that have been public have been with women. And it's like, how are you going to speak for a community that you won't even claim?
Yeah, there's a whole thing going on there.
Yeah, I was going to put that in here too, but it's like I totally get that side of it, but also like as a community, why are we bullying someone to come out that isn't ready to do that? Like we've all been there. Like every single member of like the LGBTQ plus like community has like experienced that at some point. And it's like, yeah, Harry's like a little fruity. Like we all know that, he's made that very clear. Like we don't know to what extent, but it's like, let's not bully someone into coming out if they're speaking like their truth, even if it is in this way.
Yeah, I'm like, again, it's not like I have any experience like personally with this, but I'm like, I feel like it's just different for everyone, especially when you're someone of that notoriety where you're an international star. Like, I don't know.
Your household
like
name.
No one's in his shoes that could be like, well, this is what I would do in this situation. Like, it's so easy. Why can't you just come out and say this? And so I'm like, okay, like I do understand from outside looking in why that probably frustrates some people to see. Then I'm like, okay, but it's also like, it's different for everyone. And then just in turn, Olivia Wilde comes out and looks like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. We said this last week, but the more and more time goes on, the more I'm just like anti her, but also kind of, and I hate to say this because I'm the biggest Harry stan of all time, but I'm kind of like, girly pop, what are we doing?
I'm like, I've accepted Harry at the end of the day, like probably isn't like, I think he's a very kind, genuine person that he like, I don't really think he is a good person, but I'm like, I don't think he's someone that anyone should be like dating or like, oh, like
I think he just wants to fuck.
Yeah, and that's fucking fine. But
and I don't blame him.
If you're gonna put off the front that like, but that's the other thing, he doesn't put off a front that he's like this like husband material. He makes it as clear in like the classiest way possible. Like, I like to have sex with anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
good for him.
Olivia, girly, you are looking so foolish.
Yep. Agree.
Go take care of your kids.
Yes. Also, why would you leave Jason Sudeikis? The more and more this goes on, the more I'm like, I'm on team Jason.
I tweeted at Jason Sudeikis yesterday. I was like, I would never do that to you. Also, I'm single.
I love that. I'm gonna go retweet it. Tweets of the week. What do you have while I pull ours up?
I'm like, I need to pull mine up. It was from Big John, who is back and better than ever. He's been on a roll lately.
I love him. I hate him.
I actually have 3 tweets from him, all from the same day, actually. One, I tweeted, at what age you stop running through sprinklers, because I ran through 3 of them on my run now, solely because I can't resist the urge ever. First, he quoted it and said, if anyone has security cam footage, DM me, please. Cantaloupe emojis. Then I quoted again and said, were you wearing a white shirt? I didn't answer. But then I tweeted, this is during the Cannons game, obviously. Oh no, I'm feeling delusionally optimistic about the Cannons.
I retweeted that.
It goes, me thinking I have a shot with you.
Oh no.
I thought I actually retweeted that one. I was like, all right, that's fucking funny.
That's a good one. I need to know who he is.
I want to know it so bad.
We love you, Big John.
Hilarious. No, I'm looking at his replies right now, and when you tweeted it like rip at SKG, he responded, no, please tell me this is a joke.
I just don't understand how a random stranger is just so obsessed with you. I mean, like anyone in media has one, but like he is like dedicated to the bit.
It's
which I
literally
thought
just
was
boobs,
Anthony at
too.
first.
It's literally just boobs.
It's awesome. I'm into it. The melon
I respect
emojis
it.
really send me.
They really do. They're always funny. Always get a laugh.
My tweet of the week is I posted one of those clips of Steph on the show last week.
Mhm.
And this guy named Dallas decided to fucking go to war with everyone. But how it started was he commented on our video that I posted and he goes, I see hot girls who have no children of their own and can spew shit out of their mouths as needed to get clicks. Good luck after you have children. Some dude will eventually knock you up. And I quote tweeted it and I said, shut up, bitch. He like kept going. He was like, very mature response there. And I was like, says the guy who feels the need to comment on what I do with my body and my time, LMFAO. And then he started fighting with like everyone in our comments about it.
I don't know how I didn't see any of this.
Yeah. It was like he like fucking decided to fight with people like hardcore. But I was just like, shut up, bitch. And like, why do you feel, and then you want to get mad and talk about how I'm immature when you're talking about someone impregnating me that I don't even want to? Like, I don't want kids. Like, nobody is going to knock me up. Like, talk good luck after I have children. What the fuck does that even have to do with this video, you weirdo?
Men are so weird. They're so odd.
Yeah, and then you're going to get mad at me because I tell you to shut up because you're talking about someone penetrating me against my will. Shut the fuck up, you fucking weirdo.
Ew.
Why? Like, why do you, like, just like keep scrolling.
Seriously, people just love to be angry about anything.
Like, no bitches? Okay. Also, fucking weird comment. Like, why is that the first thing you think about? Is
super bizarre.
Also, like, the thing is that I am well aware of what I am putting on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, I put that there. Not only did I say it, but I put that there. And it's like, if that's the biggest issue that I have, if I have a kid, I think I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Me consensually talking about having sex the way that I want to and how I want to, I'd say that's kind of a dub and like a positive influence.
Yeah.
So slay. Goodbye, Dallas, whatever, fucking freak. Closing thoughts. Do you have any? I have two. I want to say congrats to Mike Rabel on his baby.
Yes,
that
congrats.
Is so fun, so cute. Congratulations, Mike. And then, like I said earlier, this is kind of like a closing of a chapter. This is my last show with us in this house. Second time I'm doing this. I've had 2 last shows in 2 different houses for us now, which is crazy to say. So enjoy this background. This is it. We're out of here.
Woohoo.
Yeah. All right. Love you guys. Keep sipping, y'all, and we'll see you next week.